Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together. You know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what we love.
Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Donna Gray and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia. I'm bringing you a different technique video again today, and this one is called the Bargello technique. So it's a little bit like quilting, and you'll see as this card comes together, and it's a fun way of actually using up some of your old scraps. So I'm going to use the Sailing Home stamp set in conjunction with the DSP that goes with that bundle as well. So I've cut some strips of this designer series paper here ready to go, and I've got a piece of copy paper here. Now my piece of copy paper is cut at 5 inches, I think, by 6 inches. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to line up some of these strips of paper on this piece of copy paper ready to go to be able to create what we need for this technique. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pop a bit of glue on the bit of copy paper, and I'm just randomly going to place some of these strips onto that copy paper and glue them down. Now you're going to make sure that you've got your glue coming right out to all of the edges of your piece of copy paper to make sure that they adhere all the way down. All right. So we're just going to glue piece by piece on here and create a little bit of a pattern going sideways. So we have that. We have that. Okay, so it's just a case of randomly popping some pieces down. So they can be different widths. It's a great way, as I said, for using up some of your scraps in your craft room. So we're just going to randomly place strips of all of these along here. We've got another one here. We have this one here, which is awesome. It's going sideways. So it's just the strip of designer series paper cut a different way. All right, what else have we got? Our boats again. We'll do a smaller boat. And this is just regular copy paper that I have it on here. And here we have another thick piece. So it doesn't matter the width of your strips of paper. It really doesn't matter what width you've got. This one. And I'm thinking this one again. Okay, so there we have everything stuck down onto our piece of copy paper. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to bring in our little baby trimmer, and hopefully this is going to fit in there, and just trim that off, which it should do. Just not going to fit. All right, I'll grab my other trimmer. Just need to trim that little bit off there and then it will fit. Okay, like that. And hopefully it will fit now into the little trimmer. And it will. Look at that. And we're just going to trim that off on the edge there. And we have a piece of copy paper there with all of our pieces of paper. Now you may think, yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's a great pattern. But now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut strips this way. All right, so I'm going to do all different length strips. So I'm going to cut narrow strips. And that didn't cut very well. Okay. I'm going to cut narrow strips. I'm actually going to do it in my other paper trimmer. I think it will work better. Okay, so narrow strips, thicker strips. Yeah, that one's going to work. All different width strips. Narrow ones, really narrow ones, a bit thicker, and might do another really narrow one, and that. Okay, so then we're left with all of these strips of paper going like that, all right? So then what we're going to do is on this piece of Whisper White, we're then going to pop these strips of paper onto the strip of Whisper White. So I'm going to glue again, like we did the first time, all over this strip. And it might be a good idea to have one of your silicone mats underneath you here. Might make it a little bit easier. I'll grab a silicone mat. Oh, there's one. And just pop my silicone mat underneath. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to pop some strips at an angle across here. Okay, so that one's going to glue on there. Then we're going to making sure that we don't line up with the same patterns side by side. Okay, so we're going to make our patterns all intermingle together. So we can turn that around and pop that strip on there like that. Got to make sure that we're going to get it right over the edge. All right, so like that. And then once again, we're going to line up another strip here. And you can see that none of these segments are lining up. So it's creating a really good, awesome pattern, but none of the segments are lining up. Okay. Like so. We'll turn that one around so it will look different again. So it's a little bit looking like a quilt pattern, if you can understand what I mean. So it's giving us a really, really awesome pattern here. Oh, like that. Okay. This one here, got that one just on the edge there. This one here can go like that. And you may be thinking, oh no, she's run out. But some of these ones up here, we're going to be able to trim off. That will be able to make up, finish off the edge of it. Okay, so we've got that like that. So we've got this gorgeous pattern going crazily the way it is. All right, so then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to trim off some of these longer ones up here. So you can see here, we've got some here that we're going to trim off. So we're going to even that up with our Whisper White piece there. And that's going to give me some more pieces to be able to do the bottom piece that we haven't finished. So we've got that. And I'll trim off those so that we can see where we're going. And can you see this gorgeous pattern that we're getting? And as I said, fantastic way to use up lots of your scraps of designer series paper. So we have that. Now we've got a couple of bits left here. I've still got some glue on here. We've got a couple of bits left. that we can get these bits done. So I'll try that because that'll be different there. So one there. Here's another long piece that we have here. Another piece there. And we probably have one more piece, which that piece there will cover it. And there. Okay. So that's looking pretty awesome. So we're going to turn that over and we're going to trim that again. All right. And there we have a really fun, awesome background pattern using some of our scraps of designer series paper. So that's as easy as it is. It's really not a hard thing to do there. And then we've got this gorgeous background. So then I'm actually going to layer that background up onto a piece of our Night of Navy, and that's going to really make that pop. You can see that that will make that really pop, having that darker edge border all the way around. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that on with some liquid glue and layer that down there like that. Isn't that fantastic? Look at that. It looks like a tiled floor, or you could imagine a quilt on a bed looking like this, but what an awesome way to make some quick, easy backgrounds for your cards. All right, so the next thing what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of Whisper White, and I'm just going to stamp one of the sentiments out of this gorgeous stamp set. I think I'm going to do Let Hope Be Your Anchor Through the Storms of Life, which I think is a fantastic sentiment to say right at this very time that we're struggling through this global crisis that we're having with this virus. I think this would be a fantastic card to be able to send to one of my friends. So I'm just going to grab some of my Night of Navy ink, and I'm going to ink up that sentiment and stamp it down onto my Whisper White piece of cardstock, like that. Okay, I'm then going to bring in my gorgeous punch, and I'm just going to punch that out with my punch, like so. And then I'm just going to grab a piece of my Night of Navy. And punch out another one of those just to back in behind that sentiment. And I'm also going to grab some of our white baker's twine, which sadly has been discontinued. I don't know what we're going to do without our white baker's twine, but it is what it is. And I'm just going to wrap some of that baker's twine around with some tear and tape. If I can find the end of my tear and tape, there it is, like that. And I'm just going to wrap that baker's twine around a couple of times. Okay, so like that, and then pop a bit of double-sided tape to hold that end in place, like that, and trim it off. Okay, so we have that, which is looking fantastic. I've got a piece of our Balmy Blue as my card base, and it's cut at 5 3/4 inches this way by 8 inches. Folded in half gives me a card front size of 4 inches this way by 5 3/4 inches. And I'm going to pop this up onto dimensionals to add a bit of dimension to my card. Now I always like to, if I've wrapped some of my baker's twine around, I always like to actually put the dimensionals not on top of the baker's twine, because you end up with too much dimension because it gets a little bit bulky with that baker's twine underneath. So make sure that you just straddle your dimensionals around and take off those backings. Okay, and we will glue that one down just like that. So my Night of Navy base is cut at 5 1/4 inches by 3 1/2 inches to give me a really good border of that balmy blue. I'm then going to put some dimensionals on the back of my sentiment layer. And we will pop that up onto that Night of Navy layer. So the Night of Navy layer with the punch just gives me a little bit of color in behind that white layer. So sorry, I'm gonna pop the straight edge up the top and the bottom. So just like that. And then I'm going to pop some dimensionals. Now, one of my clues here is I pop a dimensional above the baker's twine and below the baker's twine on my card front, and then take off the backings and stick it on. That way I don't have to worry about where I've lined up that dimensional, where I've lined it up, that it's not going to sit right underneath. Okay, so there you have a super quick, easy, fun technique that will help you to use up all of your scraps of your designer series paper. It's a fantastic way of creating some fun backgrounds. And as I said, just a little bit of copy paper, some strips of your designer series paper, and a card base, and you are good to go. So hopefully you enjoyed that video. If this is the first time that you've watched one of my technique videos, feel free to scroll through my YouTube channel and check out the other technique videos. I'm bringing you technique videos every Tuesday and every Thursday until our brand new catalog goes live at the beginning of June. So please check out all the other awesome fun techniques I've done. If this is the first time you've watched, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button down in that bottom right hand corner and turn on the bell notification. As I said, all of these items can be purchased other than the baker's twine through my online store. You will find the links to my online store down below as well. If you are interested in getting your crafting products at a discount, you may want to think about joining my team. When you join Stampin' Up, if you live in Australia, when you join Stampin' Up, you get to choose $235 worth of product and only pay $169. And you are able to purchase some of our brand new catalog items right now. We as demonstrators are allowed to do it. You don't have to sell, you don't have to hold classes, you don't have to do videos, you don't have to do any of that. You can join wholly and solely just to get a discount off your crafting products. If you have any questions, please feel free. There's a phone number down there in the show more box down below as well. If you wanted to have a bit of a chat about joining and ask any questions about it, please feel free to give me a call. Until next time, everybody, happy crafting. Bye for now.
We're gonna love, live, and share.